Well, on now to the second round, the general knowledge round. And remember, according to the rules of Mastermind, if there happens to be a tie at the end of the second round, then the contender with the fewer or fewest passes will be adjudged the winner. Now, as always, I'll be calling forward the finalists in the ascending order of their first round scores. So first of all, please may I have Chantal Thompson. She comes from Taunton but lives in Eastville, Bristol. Trained as a classicist but is now articled as a trainee solicitor with Veal Wasborough. Scored 12 points on the life and works of Cicero, to be lying in 5th place. Your general knowledge questions are starting now. By what means is an Aeolian harp sounded?
By the wind.
Correct. Which 19th century political philosopher wrote, "Religion is the opium of the people"?
Marx.
Correct. The zloty is the main unit of currency of which European country?
Poland.
Correct. In lawn tennis, what score is usually called when each player has won 3 points in a game?
Deuce.
Correct. Which term describes a word or phrase which is spelt the same when read forwards or backwards?
Palindrome.
Correct. In which holy city in Saudi Arabia is a tomb of the Prophet Muhammad?
Mecca.
No, Medina. On most maps of the London Underground, which line is shown in black?
The Northern Line.
Correct. Which 19th century poet coined the term sprung rhythm to describe a rhythm used in some of his verse?
Gerard Manley Hopkins.
Correct. Mob Quad, Oxford's oldest quadrangle, is in which college?
Merton.
Correct. What is the name of the imaginary city in Aristophanes' play The Birds, which is now used for any impractical utopian scheme?
Cloud Cuckoo Land.
Is correct. Hematology is the study of what?
Blood.
Correct. Who composed the oratorio Judas Maccabeus, first performed in 1747?
Handel.
Correct. Which German artist of the Renaissance produced the celebrated copperplate St. Jerome in his study and The Night, Death and the Devil?
Dürer.
Correct. In 1988, which former Conservative Foreign Secretary published his memoirs under the title Reflect on Things Past?
Carrington.
Correct. In Greek, the initial letters of Jesus Christ, Son of God, Saviour, spell the word ichthys. What does ichthys mean literally?
A fish.
Correct. Which is the highest mountain in the European Alps?
Mont Blanc.
Correct. What name is given to the black basalt stone bearing an inscription in 3 writing systems which played a major role in the decipherment of Egyptian
The
hieroglyphs?
Rosetta Stone.
Correct. The term vitreous literally means made of or resembling which substance?
Glass.
Correct. In the 14th century, which English anchoress wrote in Revelations of the Divine Love, all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well?
Julian of Norwich.
Correct. Which British Prime Minister was created Earl of Beaconsfield in 1876?
Disraeli.
Correct. In which European country is the Marian Shrine of Fatima?
Portugal.
Correct. The 17th century French dramatist Jean-Baptiste Poquelin is better known by what name?
Molière.
Correct. In the College of Arms, I've just started so I'll finish. In the College of Arms, or Herald's College, there are 4 pursuivants. 2 are portcullis and blue mantle. Name one of the 2 others.
Something cross.
What?
Red Cross.
Yes, I'll accept that. Rouge Croix. And at the end of that round, Chantal Thompson, your score has gone up to 34 points and no passes. Thank you very much. And now Brian Bibby, please. He's a Londoner, lives in Marylebone. He's a civil servant, works for the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Food, the External Trade Policy Division. Scored 15 points on the life and works of Verdi, to be lying in 4th place. The target that's been set is 34. And your general knowledge questions are starting now. After which Norse god is Thursday named?
Thor.
Correct. To which Mediterranean island was Napoleon banished in May 1814?
Elba.
Correct. Enology, spelled E-O-E, is a study of what?
Wine.
Correct. Which queen was alleged to have written the so-called casket letters?
Mary Queen of Scots.
Correct. The American primitive painter, born Anna Mary Robertson, began showing her work when she was in her 70s. By what name is she better known?
Pass.
Wilhelmus van Nassau is the national anthem of which European country?
The Netherlands.
Correct. Which game is traditionally played at Eton College on the Saturday nearest St Andrew's Day?
Eton Fives.
No, the wall game. In 1837, which of Queen Victoria's uncles succeeded William IV as King of Hanover?
Augusta.
Correct. Which Australian artist born in 1917 is particularly renowned for his paintings inspired by the Ned Kelly legend?
Pass.
In Greek mythology, which son of Prometheus survived the Great Flood and with his wife Pyrrha repopulated the world with rocks from Mother Earth?
Pass.
In India before independence, which hill station in the Himalayan foothills was the summer seat of government?
Simla.
Correct. Which constituency does Dennis Skinner represent as Member of Parliament?
Bolsover.
Correct. The first French Republic was established in 1792. Which republic was promulgated in 1958?
The Fifth Republic.
Correct. In the New Testament, who was the brother of Simon Peter, who also became one of the 12 apostles?
James.
No, Andrew. Which bridge across the Thames marks the downstream limit of King's Reach and the upstream limit of the Pool of London?
Blackfriars Bridge.
No, London Bridge. What name is given to the sun's outer atmosphere, which can be seen as a white halo during a total solar eclipse?
The troposphere.
No, the corona. Which weekly periodical, originally planned as an organ of Fabianism, was edited by Kingsley Martin from 1931 to 60?
The New Statesman.
Correct. Which playwright, a contemporary of Shakespeare, wrote Cynthia's Revels and Bartholomew Fair?
Johnson.
Correct. In music, which term describes a perpetual canon at the unison in which the voices enter in turn, such as Frere Jacques or London's Burning?
A round.
A round is correct. And at the end of that round, Mr. Bibby, your score has gone up to 27 points. You passed on 3. The American primitive painter who was born Anna Mary Robertson and began showing her work when she was in her 70s is better known as Grandma Moses. The Australian artist born in 1917 who is particularly renowned for his paintings inspired by the Ned Kelly legend is Sir Sidney Nolan. And in Greek mythology, the son of Prometheus, who survived the great flood and with his wife Pyrrha repopulated the world with rocks from Mother Earth, was Deucalion. Brian Bibby, thank you very much. And now Helen Grayson, please, comes from Southampton originally, now lives in Calverley, in Leeds. She's a technical writer, writing manuals for computers for Zen Grange, scored 16 points on the life and works of Mary Wollstonecraft, and the target you have to beat now for your general knowledge is 34, and your question starting now. In 1980, Vigdis Finnbogadóttir became president of which country?
Iceland.
Correct. In the Christian church, which season runs from the Sunday nearest St. Andrew's Day to Christmas?
Advent.
Correct. In 1920, what nickname was given to the British recruits enlisted by the government and sent to supplement the Royal Irish Constabulary?
The Black and Tans.
Correct. In which port is the headquarters of the Royal Yacht Squadron?
Cows.
Correct. Lehar's operetta Die lustige Witwe took London by storm in 1907. What's its English title?
Merry Widow.
Correct. Who wrote A Natural Curiosity, published last year as a sequel to The Radiant Way?
Pass.
TVP is sometimes used as a substitute for meat. What do the letters TVP stand for?
Textured vegetable protein.
Correct. In the 1930s, which Spanish title, meaning the leader, did General Franco adopt in imitation of the Führer and Il Duce?
Pass.
In nursing, what is the title of the male equivalent of a ward sister?
Ward orderly.
No, charge nurse. Which British politician opposed the introduction of commercial television, which he repeatedly called the Tuppenny Punch and Judy show?
Harold Macmillan.
No, it was Churchill. Which city's underground system has stations named after King George V and President Franklin D. Roosevelt?
Paris Metro.
Correct. What common name, derived from Spanish, is given to insects of the family Culicidae?
Grasshoppers.
No, mosquitoes. Which popular American singer was born in Brooklyn in 1946 as Barry Allen Pincus?
Barry Manilow.
Correct. Which of the 7 wonders of the ancient world was situated at Olympia in Greece?
The Temple of Diana.
No, the statue of Zeus. Who wrote the poem which begins, John Gilpin was a citizen of credit and renown?
Pass.
With which craft are the names Valenciennes, Point de Venise and Honiton associated?
Painting.
No, lace making. What name derived from the Greek meaning 50th day is given to the Jewish festival that falls 7 weeks after the Passover?
Hanukkah.
No, Pentecost. Since the 14th century, the office of the King's or Queen's Champion has been held by members of which family?
Pass.
In 1905, I've started so I'll finish. In 1905, what French name meaning wild beasts was given to a group of painters including Matisse and Vlaminck?
Fauve.
Les Fauves is right. At the end of that round, Ms. Grayson, you have scored 25 points. You passed on 4. The author of A Natural Curiosity, published last year, a sequel to The Radiant Way, is Margaret Drabble. In the 1930s, the Spanish title meaning the leader, which Franco adopted in imitation of Führer and Duce, was El Caudillo. The author of the poem, which begins, John Gilpin was a citizen of credit and renown, was William Cowper. And since the 14th century, the office of the King's or Queen's Champion has been held by members of the Dimmock family. Ms. Grayson, thank you very much.